training.tv. I've got quite the round of announcements today, so we're going to work our way through them. Hello, all. Hello, everybody. FileMaker 26 is out. If you hadn't figured that out already, if this is your first time hearing about it, we have a new version of FileMaker. If not, and you're here for the wonderful discussion with HOnza and Vince about favorite features today, then it's fun. Well, I mean, you're here for that anyway, but you get the idea what I'm talking about. Last week we did Vince's top 6 favorite features. Now we're doing Hansa's top 6 favorite features with Vince commentating, which will be really fun. We have 3 companies represented here today, which is always fun whenever I have Hansa, Vince, and me on the stream. So I get to go through the shenanigans for all 3. We'll start with Vince. Beeswax is a fantastic development company, consulting. They also make Inspector Pro 8, which is, where do I find that on this? Or do I have to look up Inspector?
Products.
Products? Products? It's 9, not
Yeah.
8. I don't know what I'm smoking.
That's okay. There it is.
Vince it's a fantastic, sorry, go ahead.
I just was going to say that we are putting the final pieces together for support for 26. And so that will be coming out very soon. So that we'll have another version of Inspector that will support both 22 and 26. Eventually, we'll probably just have a requirement that you use 26 because we want to also use the configure persistent store for our benefit. But anyway, it's got some really nice things that I'll save for a presentation when we're ready because it's got some cool new things and AI related stuff. So
yes,
stay tuned.
I'm excited to have Vince on again for that. He sent me an email this morning, which is FMSP's list of issues that exists after running it through Inspector Pro. We work really hard with FMSP. That doesn't mean that stuff always slips through the cracks, even no matter how many times you beat a database over the head. If you don't actually put it through something like Inspector Pro and rip it open and look at its guts, you're going to miss problems. Floating scripts that don't make sense. Calculations that are like, yeah, pick the issue. There's a lot. And this product helps you figure that out. We also have HOnza. HOnza, you own 2ForYou, right? With another friend of yours, if I remember correctly?
Yes, I own 25% of 2ForYou.
Got it. Not 3-4, 2ForYou.
So he owns 6 for you.
HOnza is known for a lot of stuff. His company is also fantastic. They do a ton of stuff. I would say in the FileMaker shenanigans, he is probably most known for bench test, various shenanigans with that. He does a lot of work on discussing and explaining performance. Like, we know that all sorts of performance things we didn't know about FileMaker previously due to HOnza's fanatic desire to test things. Also, he always has the calculation engine, which I need to get a link for again sometime. He has the calculation engine initiative. Basically, we are petitioning Claris to improve the calculation engine one of these days.
The link is very simple, 2foryousw.com/fastcalc.
Seriously, there's really a fantastic presentation by HOnza and how much the calculation engine affects FileMaker. I think this is only going to increase, not to reduce, especially as we move away from like heavy stuff with layouts, but we're still be using the calculation engine to be doing a lot of work with FileMaker. So it would be awesome. With that all being said, I have done the round robin shenanigans. It's you today, HOnza. It's your favorite 6 favorite features today, so I'm going to hand it over to you. What are we doing? Where are we starting?
Okay. As I mentioned last week, there are 2 top 6 new features in FileMaker 26 which we share with Vince, but I'm going to repeat those 2 and I'm going to add 2 bonus and one's contributed by a customer. So I'm actually going to talk about 6, 7, 8, 9 today. So. And my favorite one, but shown from a slightly different perspective, slightly differently from one Vince was showing. Sorry, I feel like getting drunk, even though I didn't drink any beer today. So the first one, and it's actually my top one because it's going to be probably the first one I use for customers, is custom field display names. If you ever try to adopt any developer conventions when developing with FileMaker, you know that there are some naming conventions like how to name fields, how to name tables, and things like that. So when you follow these conventions very quickly, you discover that while your developers are going to love you, your end users are going to hate you for the same reason. When they try to export records, unless you write nice scripts that they don't touch and they don't have any options, and when you let them export their data and choose which fields to export, what they are going to end up with is let's say with a list of fields that they don't understand. This is not the case because it's very simple structure, but when you deal with a typical FileMaker database with 1,000 fields in a table, only 100 of them are actually holding data, and all of the remaining ones are calculation fields and summary fields and whatever you use to make that solution nice and dealing with all the stuff that you need to deal with. Uh, this dialog is going to be messy for the end user. So what you can do with 26 now is you can go to that table. I chose this one, but I think customers is even better one. So for instance, I have a name, industry, website, and this is some calculations field. What is that? So let's go into advanced here, customize field display names. And specifically for export, I want that field to be named like, okay, export, uh, won or lost, something like this. And when I close this and do the export again, maybe from the customers here, so I go to export records, do that again, and let me choose from the custom table. Now I have this nice field name in the export dialog that I can choose from, and it makes perfect sense. Unlike the one that I had in the database definition. But what's more, if I do export into, let's say, export records into Excel and do the same, and I use field names as column names in the first row. So let's try to choose that field. So I choose name, industry, and one lost, and export it as Excel file. Now, when I open that file here, you see that I have the won or lost as a title name for the column in the spreadsheet. So this is my absolute favorite, absolute number one favorite new addition to FileMaker 26, because back to what FileMaker stands on, the simplicity and ease of use, we can now easily make our solutions easy to use for our customers. Again. and and with not so much extra effort as we had to in the past for exports. So that's the number one feature for me. The second feature that we spoke last week about
Oh, oh, whoa, whoa,
is
whoa,
that,
whoa, whoa, whoa.
okay,
Slow down,
you want to
slow down.
you want to comment on that? Okay, go
Yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. So, not so fast. Okay, go back
Okay,
into the define database dialog.
okay,
And you're in the Czech Republic, right? So,
yes.
how many languages do you speak in the Czech Republic?
Well, depending
Like
on people,
let's
but
say
but
you're in
there
Switzerland.
there is
Let's
one
say,
official
yeah.
language, but most people in Czech Republic speak at least one other language.
Okay.
We have at least one mandatory at school, but many people speak two or three.
Okay. So let's say you had to, like in Canada, where I was originally from Montreal, we had two official languages, English and French. What you
Hmm.
could do as well is you could extend the custom field display names to include localized versions of labels for English and French. So you could have a label. So you could add uh, uh, another or array item, right? So you would add, let's say, English label, right? But so it's important to note here, yeah, exactly. So you could put the check equivalent of that won or lost, right? Wow, that's a lot of text there for won or lost. Okay.
Yeah.
But you could have the important thing to remember here is do not use FM underscore. That's reserved
Mhm.
for FileMaker. So if you want to extend this for all kinds of purposes, you could do that by just putting whatever label you want. And then now on the layout, you could show or in the data viewer, you could just show
Yeah. You can
that.
just go there and
Uh-huh.
get a field.
What is it?
What
Display
is it?
name. Display name.
Display field
Names.
display names
Yeah.
with get
Yeah.
file, and let's do get field name, and let's check this one here, and I get all the whole JSON, so I can
Yeah.
extract anything from that JSON.
Yeah.
So let's say if I want uh
Just on get element.
get element and I want the Czech translation here, I can just pull it out.
There you go.
So
And that's how you get this. Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, the obvious benefit of this, what Vince just showed, is all these translations are stored with the field. So it's is the in the field options, and they are stored in the schema, and you can pull them out. The disadvantage of these custom additions is that you have to manually pull them out with this function. Uh, what I really like about the native ones, those the FM underscore, is that they are supported by FileMaker natively. So they appear in the export dialog, they appear in the sort dialog. What I didn't check yet, and I'm quite
Yeah.
curious,
Yeah.
whether they also appear in the import dialog,
I
because
don't,
because
I don't think
because
so.
the because the name is actually what they say is export. So we have, yes. So we have CX1 lost here.
Yeah.
Let's see if there is actually a undocumented option for import as well.
Oh, I think import was there. Maybe FM import. No, they don't have it. But you could try typing FM import, see if they have it hidden. Sneaky, sneaky.
So
So
let's try.
exclamation mark, right? So exclamation mark.
Uh, we do have a question
Uh,
about this when you guys are ready for it.
Yeah.
so
Okay.
let's try. No, import is
No.
not supported yet. So that would be my next wish from Claris to add it also to import dialogues, because if we can add it in export dialogues, why not import dialogues? Okay, so
Uh,
any questions about this feature?
Is there an
yes.
option to exclude fields from export/sort?
Oh, that's an interesting thing, and I don't know, but what we can try is what happens when it's empty. But I believe empty means that it's
It's just going to use the default
that
value.
it defaults to the field name.
Yeah,
So let's try something crazy and let's put space in there and let's see what
exactly.
happens.
That's crazy. Why would anybody want to do that?
Okay, so let's try, and what we have. Okay, so yeah, it's
No,
not.
no,
Oh,
show.
sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Here.
There
So
it
so
is.
it's there. It's just invisible. So if it's in the end, you will hardly notice it, but it's still there. So I believe there is no way to exclude it completely. The only thing is obviously, and this is a not a new trick. Basically, if you set up a layout where you put all the fields that you want to have included, FileMaker always defaults to current layout. So unless the user switches to current table, whatever is on the current layout appears in the default list here. Any other questions?
Nope, you are good for the moment.
Okay, in that case, let me go to the next feature, and that's uh, a new function, a very simple addition to this new version, but we have a new function called get window UUID, which gives us a unique identifier of the current window which we evaluate in. And who joined us last week noticed that I was talking about one sample use. This is my example of the like back forward navigation where which I recently shared, and there I was mentioning, well, it's not ready for multiple windows. So when I close that, reopen, uh, and let's say I switch here, there, and now I open another window and switch here. Uh, you suddenly get the navigation is actually shared between those windows. So you see that it's kind of crippled. So one way to fix that, and I did that just an hour ago, uh, I just have to fine tune the conditional formatting on that, is in this version, uh, and I can show you that in the original version here, when I do some navigation, I am actually creating a global variable. Sorry, I have to unlock it. I'm creating a global variable here, which holds the history of the navigation, and then another variable which holds the index within that history. What I have changed in this new version to utilize the get window UUID is to help myself. I created two custom functions, one to get the content index and one to create get the history. And in that, instead of those two global variables, I'm actually using one global variable called context data, and I am indexing it with the window UUID. So for if I have one window here and build a navigation history, I can then open another window, and in that another window, I can build a different history, and those two histories are completely independent on each other. And the way I do it is in this global variable, for each window, I have a separate set of data. And it was a modification. It took me just less than an hour in this example, and very easily indexable by the window UID. So especially on Mac, when working with multiple windows is quite natural for most users. This way, if your solution is kind of relying on the fact that the user has only one window open and it breaks when they open multiple windows, you can very easily use this function to fix that functionality and make every window unique. So, any additional question to this?
Uh, no, not at the moment, but I think it was a really good.
Um,
Oh, Vince.
yeah, I was just going to
Vince.
say that you could also extend this not just the navigation to
Mm-hmm.
to see what you were looking at, but to also look at the same records that you were looking at. But then again, if you're in the same table, so if you're in the same window,
Mm-hmm.
then the record set is going to be the record set that you last left it with, and it's sorted and everything. So you don't need to blend in, get a list of record IDs necessarily to this capability, because you're just going to a view where you have your found set of records. And if you navigate away from it and you go back to that layout, you will have the same set of records.
But my navigation history stores also the records when you do searches and things like that. So you can
Yeah,
navigate between different contexts, different font sets, anything.
yeah,
But
yeah.
the point is, it's only limited by the imagination, what you can actually use this for. Basically, the point is whenever you have suffered from two windows sharing the same global variables, the same global fields, this is a very simple cure to that. Okay, now the next thing that I really like, and unfortunately I didn't manage to finish example of that, but I can at least briefly explain what I was going to do, and you can try yourself, or you can wait before you can watch for me publishing it as a blog post, for instance, or maybe showing in the next live stream is multiple scripting engines. So this is a new feature in FileMaker Server 26 where you can modify the number of scripting engine instances that run on your server. When you log into the admin console and go to configuration under FileMaker clients, you have this new option, number of scripting engine processes. And you can change it. The number of the numbers that appear here depend on your particular server configuration and the number of processor cores. I believe it's taking it requires 4 cores for each instance. Not sure exactly, but I believe that's the math. So by having 16 cores, I could have four up to four instances here. And when I do PS, the FileMaker processes, you can see that now I have 3 instances of the FileMaker server scripting engine running. Each one has its own ID, so they can somehow differentiate from each other. And I didn't go too far from here. The disadvantage of this feature is that there's not much yet, hopefully documented. So you only see that you can have multiple scripting engines. It's even a little bit misleading in the help here because it says that somewhere here. Also side scripts, simultaneous sessions. You may easily get an impression that every single scripting engine instance can only run one script at a time. That's not true. Because even one instance of the scripting engine can run multiple simultaneous scripts. There is a blog post on Soline's website where they mention multiple script engine processes. Now this is even weirder because they mentioned that it's configured by modifying the Claris config JSON, which I believe was the case of the ETS version, not the final release version, where you actually configure it in the admin console. Because when I checked after changing the configuration, my Claris config JSON, which I do use, has not changed at all. So, and also here there is a enable, disable flag, and another one which is saying how many cores per secondary scripting engine is actually used. This may be actually some extra flags that you that modify how it behaves. Like in my case, I believe it requires the 4 cores. So maybe if I try to actually manually configure this and let's say change this 4 to 2, it might be offering me 6 uh, instances instead of 3 in the admin console. I'm not sure. I still have to try. The other thing is, uh, I was going to try and I didn't get to it. What is the impact of running multiple scripting engine or multiple server-side scripts at the same time? Whether I do it within a single instance or whether I do it with multiple instances. So here's what I started preparing, but I didn't finish. Where is it? In this example, I actually created a new, where is it? Multiple PSOS. So I created a new layout for this with some settings like how many instances, how many simultaneous scripts to start with, and do some gradual increase of the number of simultaneous script steps, and collecting some benchmarks. The idea was obviously you can leverage you can get the most out of this feature if the scripts do not have to compete against each other with accessing the database, for instance. So if all the scripts that you run are dealing with the same database or even the same table, they're probably going to compete with each other, and you're not going to benefit much from having multiple scripting engines. But if each script is working with a different database, or if they don't need a database at all, such as scripts which are doing some math or file processing, whatever, you may be able to benefit from utilizing all your processor cores this way. So I basically created a very simple script to use in this example, which to which I'm going to send a parameter with timeout, for instance, 2 seconds. And my plan is that I run 1, 2, 10, 100 simultaneous scripts and set the same timeout for all of them, and calculate how many times uh, this calculation, which is some simple encryption, gets calculated. And the higher number of times this gets calculated, the more I can actually get in the compute power from running multiple scripts at the same time. And this is what I'm going to run in a loop with one scripting engine, two scripting engines, and three scripting engines, and see if there are any significant differences, how high I can get with the uh, utilization of the processor. So no results to show now because it will take me probably about an extra hour to finish this example, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely going to share the results as soon as I have them, and I'll be glad if anyone who has some insight shares that as well. So that's the next one. Another one that I really forgot to ask again. Questions, comments.
Someone was asking if we can download the navigation file somewhere.
Yes, definitely. Uh, I believe I have already shared it in the blog. So on the 2 Free Software website, when you go to news, uh, there is the back button in 5 minutes. So when you go to this article, there is a download link, and after I fix the condition formatting, which I messed up with today, I will upload a new version of this example. So if you download it, let's say for safety next week, you should get the new version that already utilizes the get window UUID. Anything else for the scripting engines?
Nope, I think we're good.
Okay. So the next one, and this is another one that I really liked, and this is something we have been waiting for since FileMaker 16. That was the first time actually when I spoke to Clay Michael at FileMaker DevCon, and he said this is something that Claris is aiming for. So we have save copy as XML. We have had that for a long time, but the new feature is that we can even select what we get included in the XML. So for this example, I decided to omit scripts. So I export everything except for scripts for this back forward navigation. And create an XML representation of it here in this folder. So I get the XML, and now when I check the FM update tool, which is installed with the FileMaker upgrade, sorry, which is part of the FileMaker server installation, you may figure out that there is a new option, generate DB file. What it does is that when I just copy that here and then source path and point it to the XML, it creates a new FileMaker file from that XML. And it's actually a working FileMaker file. And because, okay, so I have actually excluded the script that, all scripts, so even the script that unlocks the full access to, so I would have to reopen it with knowing the full access password. But you see that it's the same file with just missing scripts. I don't, what is the, okay. The trick is my password. I don't know even the username. That's weird. I can try it with the other file, so I can do save as copy as XML and do the test file instead. So when I try with test, I get a copy of the test file just generated fresh from the XML. You see, I have all the data tables, all the relationships, all the layouts there, everything. It is in some way limited. I believe some structures are not supported, but most of the FileMaker file structure is supported. And one of the benefits that many people were waiting for, and you may not think about that use case, is you know that FileMaker is quite sensitive to corruption. When you forget to close the database and then reopen it, you get a message that it was not closed properly. Sometimes people simply keep using the file as long as they don't get errors. Very often those databases, after several corruptions, retain some corruption inside which you don't know about, and after years it can kick back in some way, like that it starts claiming that the database is corrupted and it cannot be longer open, whatever, and you get into trouble having to contact Claris to fix the database, hoping that they will get your data out and things like that. With uh, this feature, you can actually get a clean, valid XML representation of the FileMaker file. And if you create the file, you should back from the XML representation, you should be getting a valid file with no corruption inside, because it only creates the valid components of the schema. That's my it's not Claris documentation saying, it's just my assumption, but I hope that this is one of the use cases where it can be very helpful. Simply creating an XML representation of a FileMaker file, possibly checking with a tool or something that it's fine, that there is nothing weird, and recreating the FileMaker file from the XML representation and getting rid of the old corruptions that you may be retaining for a long time. Another thing which is very easy to guess is whatever is here in the XML representation is just text. So you can replace that text, you can modify it. So you can do things like localization. You can do batch replacements of things. So, for instance, if you want to rename something globally in your database, you no longer have to go through hundreds of layouts and manual rename labels there. You can just do that as a find and replace in the XML. So you can think how very powerful this can be if you use it carefully. And I'm sure that many new tools are going to appear very soon, which will leverage this feature. So, any comments on this?
Nope, just
This
thank you. Oh, sorry, go ahead,
very,
Vince.
very exciting. Very cool.
Yes, very cool.
Yes.
Azuma's begun having like little celebratory things. That's very accurate. Question. Does this work only on server?
No, it's part of the server installation, and the main reason that it's not a standalone installer, although Claris is planning is, I believe, and I think FileMaker server installer now lets you install just the tools. The main reason is because in order to properly recognize plugin functions and plugin script steps. It lets you also point to the tool to a folder containing your plugins so that it properly loads the plugin functions and recognizes them. But when you run the FileMaker server installer, you should be able to choose to install just the tools. Any more questions?
You can make changes to a button or field object directly in XML and import back to FileMaker to update.
Yes, but if you want to make just a single change like that, doing a patch would be cleaner way because basically this way you are recreating everything. And you have to be careful that you really don't use any of those features which are still not supported by this recreation. So I would suggest checking uh, the documentation. I believe somewhere in the release notes or maybe knowledge base, it is mentioned what specific parts of the schema are not being recreated by this. But yes, general answer is yes, you can do that.
Uh, Someone else is typing, but I will let them ask the question before.
Just a side note, it recreates the file without data, so data is not exported in the XML, and so it's not in the recreated file either. So, one other thing which I believe many people will start trying is that you can actually, when you make changes to your FileMaker database, when you develop, you can just save the XML and put it into some version control system like Git, and then as a part of deployment you can instead of keeping the binary file, you can be deploying those FileMaker files or recreating those FileMaker files from the text representation stored in the Git. So you can have a repository with text-based files, keep the version control, keep the differences, the history, and just recreate the FileMaker files from the latest or whatever commit that you want to recreate.
A comment is this is a major benefit of the upgrade tool and a great security add-on tool. Kudos to HOnza for pointing it out.
Okay, and another question for Vince. Will Inspector give out just the edit XML for Git?
Uh, what do you mean the added XML for Git? Sorry, what was your question?
The question is, will inspector give out just the added XML for Git, only the changes?
Well, I mean, it's writing out uh, what so like if you have a script, it's writing out the script as a script document. And so if you make changes, then it's writing out whatever's the new version of the script, and then it's checking that into Git. So uh, it's it's Git that's doing the diff, I guess. We're writing out the script in its current state, if that's the question. I'm not sure. Is that
Yeah,
the question on?
I believe even in a way how you do it with Inspector now, you are still keeping the whole XML in the current repository, right? So
No,
so the Git is saving only the differences, but the current version is complete, correct?
no, we're not keeping the XML.
Oh, you're not?
Yeah, so we're processing it, we're importing it.
Oh, I see.
It's all textual based. Eventually, in the future, we may change that, and we're
Mm-hmm.
exploring different ways to do that. We're always looking for new ways to improve things. So
Okay,
right
yeah,
now, it's parsing it and it's turning it into a textual representation,
I
and then
see.
using that to check into Git.
Okay, well, so maybe reason to have a checkbox in Inspector, keep the XML or discard the XML.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely, especially with this feature being around where you could go pull out certain components the way you had them. I'm sure
Yeah,
you can put
and
tooling
and
together.
I can imagine that you can even very simply with the use of FileMaker Server Admin API, you can easily write CI/CD scripts for a repository that actually automatically publishes new version to test server when you commit it to Git.
Yep.
Okay, the next one. Uh, And I will probably show it on this layout here.
Oh, hmm.
So, and I have a nice test picture here that I can put into a container.
You need a record.
Okay, so I wanted to use the live file, not the recreated one. So, external container. So this test image here. And you know that when the layout is too small, you want to zoom it a little bit. You can zoom in, zoom out, like here. We have always been able to do that, but the disadvantage of uh, this zooming in the past was that set zoom level had only a few options here we had to choose from. But now we have a custom. So let's do something like this. I will add a field, zoom, and make it number, make it global. And I will use custom zoom using that field. And now when I add that field here and set a trigger on object, save, zoom. You see, I can do very granular zooming. So I can set any arbitrary zoom level with this new feature. You could actually zoom like this on iOS or iPadOS, because when the layout doesn't fit the screen exactly, you can pinch with the two fingers to zoom in or zoom out. So that was possible, but you couldn't do that programmatically with the script. Now you can calculate whatever zoom is appropriate for any use that you need, and you can zoom exactly the way you want. So this is a great feature, and especially for people who are trying to achieve at least some level of responsivity on layouts. Normally, one of the things that people complain about in FileMaker is that it's not responsive, so you cannot easily create responsive designs. Now, with the custom zoom, uh, for instance, when you have a list view, you can easily zoom the list view and proportionally resize all the columns uh, by the zoom level instead of having to resize only one column. So uh, there are many different cases where you might utilize this. It's just a new opportunity that you have to find your own use cases for. And it,
When changing to another screen, do you need to reset it to zoom 100 on layout exit?
no, yeah, you would have to if you want to use that zoom level only for the current layout. Obviously, on layout exit, you could reset it to 100. Otherwise, it stays where you set it. So it's a window specific thing. Just like in the past, the zoom works the same way it has always been working. The only difference is that you now have the option to set any zoom level with a custom number, not limited to just the few values that are predefined in the pop-up menu in the script.
In a multi-file solution, it is very useful when you need to make it work for smaller screen devices.
Yeah, that's a good use case as well. And one interesting thing, keep in mind that while all the layout parts do zoom, the top and bottom navigation parts don't are actually immune to zoom. So they are zoomed at 100% all the time. So that's good to know. Anything else to this feature?
No, this is a fun feature to have though. Like almost like little like life improvements. You're like, oh, thank God.
Okay. So now one I specifically don't have a specific demo for, but let me try. Here I have some. Uh, okay. Actually, yeah, this will be a better one to use. So in here I have two portals. I have a database with 40 records. This left portal shows records from 1 to okay, it's even randomized. So it shows random sorted about five records, another five records in this portal. And in previous version, FileMaker 22 or FileMaker 2025, if we want to use the marketing name, we got a new feature that we already talked about with Vince few times in these live streams, and that's get what is it? List. Vince, remind me what is that? Get list of
Get
records?
uh get
Uh,
record IDs from found set.
get
Oh,
get record
Yeah.
IDs from the found set. So here we could specify the type, which could be, for instance,
5.
value ranges.
Yep. Or the numbers 0 to 4.
Yeah, I can just use number 0 as a default. But now we have a new optional parameter here, and we can specify to use table occurrence or portal. So this way, let's say if I don't specify that, I get the list of records in the current context. So that's all those 40 records in the current found set. Now, when I look at the portal here, the name is portal 1. When I modify that calculation and use portal 1 as the second parameter, I get only the list of record IDs from that portal. What is more interesting, this is actually less than 40 records, but what is more interesting is, let's say I see that there is a portal filter set up. So I'm actually the relationship that I'm using for this portal related, you see that I'm showing all the records except the one with the same ID. So the relationship is actually revealing 39 records. And when I use this table occurrence name in that calculation, you will see that I get all the 39 records there. So if I use this here, you see I get everything except number 1. But when I'm referencing the portal 1, it's giving me what really is shown in the portal. So we did have a way how to get list of records through a relationship. This new function is much faster because it doesn't have to do so many script server calls. But what I really like about this feature here is that it also applies the portal filter. So it's the first time since portal filters were released that I can actually use a calculation or script to get just the records that are showing in the portal which is filtered. So now we can do things like calculate a summary of just those filtered values. You know that when you use a summary of a relationship, even if you filter the values in the portal, you still get all the related values summarized. Now, thanks to this function, we can get only the filtered values and use them for further processing. So that's why I think this is really cool. Not because you can get the list of record IDs through relationship, but because you can get them from a filtered portal. So
that
any questions on that?
that's very cool because I was just dealing with filtered portals and shenanigans the other day. I did not realize I could not do that. We have that's the name of the object in the get records from found set.
Yes, that's the object name. So whatever I set as a name of the object here, that's what I use for the parameter in the function.
If you use the portal name, it uses the filter. If you use the table occurrence name,
It
I
uses
f-
the relationship.
Yeah, use the relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So by using the object name, you actually can apply you get the portal filter applied as well. And that's the cool thing about this feature.
I would go, I'm crazy. I would go a step further. I would get rid of my relationships. I would not have indexes. I would store everything
Yeah.
transactionally, just have raw
Yeah.
tables. I'm like a
Well,
lunatic.
yeah, it sounds crazy, but you can definitely do that. You can use
Hmm.
filter portal without a relationship because you can base the portal on the current table. So
Hmm.
you don't need any relationship to use a portal, and you can filter the current table using the portal filter, and then you can use this function to actually extract the IDs of those filter records.
Yeah.
So you can perform find without performing find.
Yeah. That's very cool.
And by using go to list of records and supplying this outcome to it, you can actually do the perform find. So you can modify the found set.
Yeah. I think the other important thing to remember about go to list of records is that it's got a superpower that go to related records doesn't have. And that
Mm-hmm.
means I could be anywhere in my system and I could say go to list of records and I just tell it what layout I want the list of records from and uh, and then you give it the IDs and it goes and finds those records from any context. Doesn't matter
Okay,
where you are.
there is a good question. Isn't the relationship quicker than portal filtering?
Hmm.
Initially, yes, but portal filtering, uh, except for a very specific case, happens on the client. And if you combine this with virtualist, you basically it's very difficult to use relationships with virtualist because virtualist is virtual. It's in variables, but you can actually combine virtualist with portal filters and get list of get record IDs from this function. I keep forgetting what the function name
Yeah,
is.
it is a funky one.
Yeah,
Get
but
record IDs from FileSet.
this is a very cool thing that and I'm curious. Uh, it might be a very cool technique how to actually filter JSONs or if you use JSON to populate a portal as a value as a virtualist and use a portal filter to filter those values and use this function to extract the subset of those values. That might be a cool way to actually filter array from a JSON. Just a rough idea.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
We
Uh,
have another.
you're right. You only get the record IDs. That's correct. But you can always then transfer the record IDs into a found set by using go to list of records, and then you get the found set, and you can work with the found set. So
And
hopefully
not
that
only not
answers
only
the
that,
question.
not only that, but you could send those record IDs to the server and have them processed on the server too.
Oh yeah,
So
that's right. That's
yeah,
another benefit. Yeah,
yeah,
but
and not
but
and
but that doesn't that actually doesn't apply to virtualist because in virtualist you actually that get the record IDs of the virtualist values, not the original records.
Uh,
Yeah,
uh,
but
the comment says the same thing.
there is another comment real fast. Using the list or IDs, you could fetch other data using EDAPI or EDP AI.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I have just listed my top six features and we have just consumed 1 hour, but I promise to talk about three more. I will be very fast, but I want to mention them.
Yes.
Two, two extra features I really want to mention because even though they are not my personal favorites, I believe they are probably one of the highest business value features. One of them is remote backups. Uh, for all our customers that we take care of their solutions through SLA, we provide offsite backups because we know that for business continuity and disaster recovery, this is a must. You definitely should have a backup that starts in a different building, far from the main server, so that when your server burns, when the whole building is destroyed, you still get your data. Uh, Most small businesses to take a long time before they realize they need offsite backups. So, uh, what I really think is important for as a business value is that now you can pay Claris to provide you with a cloud storage to hold your remote backups, and in the admin console you can just go here. Uh, Here you can manage storage in Claris custom console, and then you assign drive, and FileMaker server automatically takes care of replicating your backups to the remote storage. So that's a great feature, especially for uh, beginners or for companies with uh, just very light infrastructure for whom the taking care of setting up and maintaining offsite backups would be a lot of overhead. Now it's very simple, just a few clicks and paying a little extra to Claris. So that's one thing, and the other one, which is more targeted on the other edge to companies to larger companies where specifically downtime is extremely expensive thing. Standby server uh, coming back, it was originally, I believe, released in FileMaker Server 16 or 18, something like that, as a feature. Then it was removed. Now, again, FileMaker's server is getting a standby server feature, which works simply by you having two copies of FileMaker server. It needs to be on the same operating system. Uh, but once you set up those two servers so that the second one works as a standby server, FileMaker server will automatically replicate your incremental backups to the standby server. It's not a automated failover. There is a delay. So, for instance, when you have incremental progressive backups running every 5 minutes, it can the replication of on the standby server can be a little bit later. But when, for instance, your primary server starts having issues and you know that you want to take it down for repair, like hardware starts failing, whatever, you can easily switch to the standby server. That standby server becomes your primary server, and whatever is the latest incremental backup copy there will be used. Uh, it's just like if you store your incremental backups to a separate hard drive and then take that separate hard drive and copy the incremental backup to a new server. But instead of doing it manually and spending half an hour with that, it's automated and ready to use. So instead of half an hour or hour to bring your server back up, it can take maybe a minute or two. So specifically for customers who really care about downtime, where uh, being without the server for 5 minutes is extremely costly, this is a huge value to the
Mm-hmm.
business. So those two features are very valuable from the business perspective. And there is one that I wanted to mention because one of my customers contributed to me as his favorite feature, and I really like it, and I really like he brought it to my attention, and that's very simple update to what FileMaker supports in terms of image formats in container fields. As you can see here, I tried to put my picture in the container, and that picture is a PNG, which takes 294 kilobytes.
Mm-hmm.
When I try to open it in Photoshop and convert it to JPEG so that I make it smaller, I use JPEG with high quality setup, export it to file. You see that I have created file that has 63 kilobytes. One disadvantage of it is that JPEG doesn't preserve transparency. Uh, with the high quality, it's specifically for photos, it's relatively good. So the image quality stays visually the same, and you save some space. So instead of 200, almost 300 kilobytes, I'm using 63. But it's still something to store. If you work with a lot of images, with big ones, big photos, you can easily create a few terabytes of data with just images. And the new thing in FileMaker is that it now supports new picture format natively in these containers, um, and that's the WebP format. So if I save it as WebP, it's a format optimized for use on websites. It's a similarly lossy compression like JPEG. But the compression rate is much better, and an extra benefit is that it also preserves transparency. So when I say set the quality to high, just like for the JPEG, and save this image to the same folder, you see that the WebP version is just 16 kilobytes.
Wow, that's
And when I put
crazy.
it into the same container, I can actually do
16?
yeah,
That's
so
crazy.
let me show the differences. So I put in the PNG first, then the next record I put in the JPEG, and the next record I put in the WebP image, and I zoom to 150. And now I try to switch between the records. Do you recognize any difference in the quality?
No, I can't see anything.
Uh,
Still the same image, just much
Jeez,
smaller.
Jesus.
That's
Wow.
So
insane.
WebP,
And
WebP.
now imagine if you compress 1 terabyte of images uh, to less than one third. Well,
Well, if you take
yeah,
the
what
PNG,
63 by okay, it's about one quarter.
Mm-hmm.
You save 750 gigabytes just ju- just by translating all your images from JPEG to WebP.
That's nuts. That's really cool.
So there is a
looks like you owe somebody lunch.
And I see Dean, the customer who actually submitted this to me as his favorite feature, is online watching us. So thanks, Dean, for submitting this. And I wanted to make sure that people hear this because it's a great discovery, and it's just a very simple addition to the platform, supporting one more image format, right? But it's an important one, and I think it's good to know about it. What I wish we had also was a function that actually does the translation, but in the combination with the fact that we can now export field contents on server, we can do post-processing like export the image, run a script that converts it from JPEG to WebP and re-import it back to the container.
Uh, uh, it is only
Yeah, exactly.
5.5% in size. Nuts.
Yeah,
Well, that's an easy win.
yeah. Very cool.
That's
I didn't
exceedingly
know it was
cool.
so much.
I mean, I
I'm
knew
a,
that it
I'm
was
a,
better, but I didn't realize it was this much better, right?
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
By the way, that's a huge difference in the compression settings, because when I try to save it as WebP, there is also the option to use lossless. So let's do. I'm not sure if I'm typing it correctly. Yeah. So if I
Lossless,
select lossless, and
what,
then
20
once
kilobytes.
more, I'll do WebP with 100% quality, and
I estimate. Yeah.
let me try JPEG with 100% quality as well, just so that we have a comparison. So let's check this out. So with lossless, we have 184 kilobytes.
Ooh,
With 100% quality, we have 70 kilobytes. So it's still about half of 100% quality JPEG.
wow.
And with lossless, we still get about 30% savings compared to PNG. So whatever quality settings we use for the WebP, we still get a better uh, size than PNG or JPEG.
Wow. Mm. But you're storing the files externally. It's still taking up space on your drive,
Yeah.
right? That's the
Hmm.
point, right? So
Yeah,
you're saving the
exactly.
space. Yeah, you're just saving the
Yeah,
space. Huh.
I believe WebP is a little bit more demanding on the computing power than JPEG, but now we have so powerful computers that we don't really care.
I like that. We don't really care. The computer does all the work. All right. Very cool.
I recall when JPEG was first released, maybe 30 years ago. What was the time? Uh, I used to wait like 5 seconds for a full screen JPEG to be drawn, to be decompressed.
Wow. Come a long way.
This is very cool. Uh,
So those were my and not only my favorite features in FileMaker 26.
and that was an excellent collection of favorite features. Seriously, thank you both so much. It's always a joy having both of you on. I maintain that I learn
And
a
now
ton.
and now I'm going to play with those concurrent scripts.
Hmm.
That'll be awesome. Oh, we did have a quick off-topic question for you, Hans, if you are up to
Hmm.
taking one. If Hansa has time, did he ever check the difference in speed between single and multi-file solutions to get the data?
Well, that's quite ambiguous question, because single and multi-file solution that can be designed different ways. So uh, the main thing is it always can help with performance if you split your data into multiple files. If the bottleneck that you are solving comes from multiple scripts or multiple users competing to access the same database. One great example is we have the main problem with multiple users or multiple sessions is always logs. We have database logs and we have record logs. Database log is something meaning that the whole database is logged, and everyone wanting to access it has to wait until the log is released. And what not many people know is that there is database wide log used, for instance, for searches. Because when you do search, when you perform find, uh, the database engine wants to make sure that nothing changes in the database during the find. So when you run a find that takes half a millisecond, it's no problem. But when you do a complex find that takes seconds or even minutes, then you log the database until the find is finished, and that's a problem. If you do find in one database, all other databases are still accessible and you can work with them, so there is no problem there. So obviously, the best solution is to make your finds perform quickly so that the log gets released very fast. But if you do a lot of searches in one database and a lot of modifications is in another one, it's much better than having those two as a one database.
There you go. I think that's a good answer. And then a last comment from one of our YouTube people. Very cool presentation. I absolutely agree. These 6 new features are the very top, mainly because they've been missing for a long time. So.
Yes, no comments on that.
Yes. All right. Thank you, everyone, both so much for coming. Thank you so much, HOnza and Vince. Seriously, it's always a pleasure to have you both on. Legitimately, it's fantastic. All right, everybody, have a good one. Have a great day. We will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.